What is up, everybody? We are live on this beautiful SoCal Saturday. How you doing? On right? Come on. There we go. Welcome to MEACH at the Movies, right here on the Jeff Meacham Network. We are on YouTube, Twix, Facebook, not by Instagram, because it never stays. Once it's live, like once it's done, it's done. So I don't want to screw with it. Anyway. Yes, I'm live 45 minutes earlier than I intended to be. There is a reason for that. I, for some reason, thought that Genesis, TNA's first premium event in the era of Impact on AMC, was going live at later than it is. So in an effort to not overshadow or try to infringe on anybody's time, I'm just going to do this. So The Godfather. This is one of those that I've talked for many years about. There's this list of movies that both my buddy Aaron Rift and my longtime YouTube collaborator JJ Williams has made up for me of movies I need to see before I die. And the list is ever going. I've got a year's worth of content out of that list. So there you go. And we'll be continuing on next week and the week after. So the show was supposed to go up on the 9th, and it didn't happen for a variety of reasons. That first full week of January was a little batshit, and then it was supposed to go up yesterday. But again, this, as you guys saw my post across social, this week has been crazy, in a good way, a good busy, but it's been busy. So I do apologize for the tardiness of this stream and for the fact that I am going live. By the way, I decided to do this show right after I watched the movie. No notes, off the cuff, and just boom, immediate reaction, which is why I rewatched it. I literally just finished it right now. So let me say, first of all, and this is probably going to come up on every single show I do on this, every single week I do this show. I am so mad at myself for not having watched these movies sooner. The Godfather is, as I said in the description, it is the standard bearer. It is the movie that set the tone for all mafia movies, mobster movies, gangster movies, whatever you want to call them, going forward. The Godfather, based off a novel by the man who ultimately ended up with the screenplay as well, Mario Puzo, which he will come up a lot in 2 weeks when I review The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, which was essentially a remake or a envisioning or a redo of The Godfather Part 3, which I've heard is kind of what it is. I am going to watch both versions of Part 3, but I'm going to be reviewing the Coda. Anyway, I was immediately sucked into this movie. And I know that sounds like cliche, but I had heard for years it was brutal and it was just bloody and very intense and up in your shit. I'm going, this 3 hours? It's going to be 3 hours of just bombard me with, guns and blood and just not my cup of tea. And I was so relieved that was not the case. There is quite a bit of brutality, as you would expect from a mob movie, from a gangster movie, and especially from something like this, The Godfather. And I really now want to get my hands on the novel just to see the differences, because I am very much a book person, and I really am curious how the movie strayed or stayed true to the original Mario Puzo novel. I'm very curious on that. But for 3 hours, it's still very well paced, at least from my brand new perspective on this series of movies. I'm definitely looking forward to watching part 2. For the record, I'm going to watch part 2 tomorrow and record tomorrow so I can have the show up for Friday on the 23rd. Just a heads up. Anyway, I like the dichotomy, the back and forth of, you open up with a scene where one of the many, followers, for lack of a better term, is asking Don Corleone, Marlon Brando's character, Vito Corleone, for a favor. And it's a tradition, I guess, that you any favor that is asked of a man of his position on the day of his daughter's wedding cannot refuse the favor. So he ends up conceding, puts one of his men on the job, if you will. But it was not too long after that we get one of the more violent deaths in the movie. I mean, death is violent, folks. The people in the horror genre, oh, the kills were great. It's like, these are murders. These people are getting killed. Rob Zombie talks about that a lot in the documentary about his Halloween movies, that, calling them kills is just like, it's murder. Like, it's weird that there's a niche name for it. But anyway, every single performance, not to be cliche or quotey, but blew me away. God, Marlon Brando is Marlon Brando. You can't beat Brando. My first memories of James Caan are for later, like in Elf and other movies way past The Godfather, and seeing him as Sonny Corleone was a wonderful and very intense refresher on how James Caan really came into superstardom. And man, the depiction of his murder in this movie. So, by the way, spoiler heavy, folks. This movie's been out for 50 years. Like, get over it. Almost 60 years. I think it's 55 next year, actually. So we're close to 55. But anyway, the way he was taken out is absolutely insane. Just riddled with bullets on a toll booth. It was crazy. So there was that. There, the way that Vito Corleone passed was very unexpected for me. The way he met his demise was not in the way that I expected it to be, based on what I knew about this movie, this genre, however you want to, quantify it. So that was kind of cool. And seeing Diane Keaton as Kay in this, not too long after we lost her, because she passed away last year, and I had forgotten that she was in this. Talia Shire's in this, prior to her being the wife of Rocky Balboa, Adrian, in the Rocky movies. And I know she's in the other two parts. So it's going to be cool to see Talia Shire as a character other than Adrian. And again, I've not seen her a whole lot of stuff. That's on me. That will be taken care of on this show, I'm sure. But seeing Talia Shire in a different light was really cool. It's probably going to sound like, well, no, duh, Jeff, but my favorite part of it, and I'm sure that's why part 2 is so popular. I'm sure that why part 3, people were so upset at how it turned out and how it was laid out or whatever. And then that's why they did the redo and made the Godfather Coda, was the transformation of Michael Corleone, Al Pacino's character. War hero, comes back from the war to attend his sister's wedding, wants nothing to do with the family business, and ultimately ends up being the Don, being the head of the family by the end of the movie. And it really spoke to me. And part of me in that respect is glad I waited to watch it until this point of my life, where I understand the mindset, the perspective of Michael's arc. Wants nothing to do with anything that has to do with how his family runs things, wants to do his own thing, wants to be his own person, and ultimately basically has to become the person that his father never wanted him to be, that, his brothers really wanted him. They wanted him to remain the white sheep, because usually the black sheep's the odd man out, but in Michael's case, very much a white knight, very much a war hero. So they wanted him to remain that white sheep and stay out of the crap and the dirty dealings and everything. And he gets sucked into it almost by necessity, but by the end, he is this person. He is this this monster that I'm guessing he's going to become as we lead into part 2. And I was I was far less squeamish about it than I thought I would be. I'm very grateful to my own stomach for not turning on me during the course of the movie. But I will say that it was, as I thought it was well paced, as I said earlier. I thought it went, very quickly for a 3 hour movie, but I also, in the same respects, it did seem to be like, okay, what are we doing a lot of the time? And that's, I don't know. It makes it sound like I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it out of it. I really did. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I definitely am looking forward to continuing on and finding out exactly what happens to these people, because it was the shortest 3 hours of my life, I guess is the best way I can put it. So it was a cool, a good way to start this new project. And I know that I didn't get off on the right foot as far as starting on time, but that's just me, kids. Sorry. Again, you guys saw the post earlier today. It has been a very crazy, fun, mixed bag, but all of it good. It's one of those rare times that, usually when I say I have a mixed bag, it's just like, oh, it sucks. I don't want to deal with this shit today. But this week was really good, and I'm happy I get to cap it off not only with the this review, and I don't know how, I don't think it's going very well personally. I'm kind of whatever. Again, I probably will end up taking notes for part 2 and beyond the other movies, just because I feel like going live and going off the cuff is not, conducive to this type of show. But again, I had so much fun during the course of this week, getting to do all these things for all these amazing people, bringing Datilla in for her birthday, being on the DQ review at Disneyland on the DQ for Monday, being on the DQ review in the Greg Cherry show, as I had going with my dad to the Kings game, even though they played how they played. Getting my year pin. Where's my, oh, it's right here. I'll show you guys up close like. Getting my year service award for, being back with Disneyland for a year and actually making it a year, so I can get the official, celebrating my friend's return from being otherwise engaged for far too long, far too wrongfully, in our opinion. And then I get to be at work yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And then, doing the review today. But there it is. There's my little, let's see if I can. I'm going to talk more about this on Monday for what on MEACH Street Musings. But yeah, there's the pin. Pretty cool. Very, very proud that I got to do that. And we're going to continue with this particular series tomorrow, next week rather, as I review part 2, The Godfather Part 2. That'll be next Friday in the usual time slot, hopefully 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. As I mentioned, Greg Cherry shows every Wednesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, across both this channel and the Greg Cherry brand. I'm hoping I'm on the No DQ review this coming Tuesday. I think I made my intent and desire to be on that show clear with our moderator, but if not, I'm saying it now and I will say it again to them. And then, as I revealed on Main Street Musings on Sunday last week, this show is still happening after all. I'll be starting in March with the timeline starting over 30 years ago of the NWO, the New World Order within WCW, WWE. It's little side trip to TNA, if you will, and ultimately back in WWE and the enshrinement in the Hall of Fame. And as we've been talking about, at the end of this month, Wednesday, January 28th, will be the Greg Cherry brand's annual Royal Raffle as part of the Greg Cherry Show. And then on Saturday, the 31st, Greg and I will be doing our reactions to the Rumble show itself. I did get that day off, so I might be here live with Greg. Greg is, of course, going to be in Pennsylvania, but I should be live here for that next week. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I know it didn't go very long. I'm hoping these shows will go longer as I get the rhythm down, get the format down. But I really wanted to make sure that I talked about this movie this week. All these movies that are on this list that are going to be on these Friday episodes of MEACH at the Movies. I know today's Saturday, bear with me, but are movies this particular year I've never seen them before. So that's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing all of these for the first time. Seeing The Godfather now twice, but for the first time, was an experience and a half. And I'm so excited to wake up tomorrow here in Orange County and watch The Godfather Part 2 for the first time and immediately sit right here, do this here, and get that to you guys on Friday the 23rd. Thank you all again for watching today. It is appreciated. I know, as I said, I know it was rushed, and I do apologize. But I am, again, I was want to make sure I was very excited to go ahead and get this done for you guys. So thank you once again. Tune in here about 15 minutes or so from now, I do believe. There's going to be coverage of TNA Genesis. Again, the first pay-per-view, PLE, whatever TNA is calling them these days, in the era of Impact on AMC. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and we will see you next week right here on MEACH at the Movies, and upcoming on Monday for Main Street Musings. Good night.